Rotary Club. Today's meeting is our final Rotary meeting for the Rotary year 23-24. So we'll begin with the anthem and pledge. Larry Holmes.
Well, I think before we do that, since the Rotary's last time as the reign of the president, let's sing ROT. Let her know that we love what she does. ROTARY, that spells Rotary. ROTARY, it's known on land and sea, from north to south to east to west, from his most who serves the best. ROTARY, that spells Rotary.
May these guiding principles inspire us today as Rotarians and always leading us for a path of meaningfulness and virtuous living. As we each our own way pray, amen. Amen. I'd like to introduce our guest today. We have Jason Evans, and we have Reverend Leah Cox, guest Chris Griffin, Michelle Wilson, guest Larry Wilson, please stand. Alan Holt, guest of Larry Wayman, please stand. Todd Stoner, guest of Sabrina Morgan. Mark Burton, guest of Listener Governor Moore. And we are our Rotarian guests today.
We've got a few announcements today. The first one is our friends with Rotary, the Sunshine Club. They're 22nd annual Rotary Golf Classic on February the 19th, 2024. We have information about registration. If you'd like to play the golf tournament or the Rotary Club, I'm sure they will appreciate your participation. I also want to mention that tomorrow, at the old Lions Gym, we're going to have new member orientation. It starts at 11:30, so if you've recruited a new member in the last few months that hasn't attended an orientation, you are all invited. And before our year ended, I thought we should at least squeeze in a social. So I hope you all got the information that we're going to go to Slow Rise Pizza on June 26th, 2016, about 5:30, and hope to see you all there. And now one of the reasons why you came today is to hear our speaker, and I'm going to ask Lee Fisher to introduce our speaker.
All right. I'm going to keep this short so we can have some more time to pray. I'd like to ask a quick question. How many encouraged right there and roll it like him? Okay, we will be short. All you got to know is he's a Wave graduate, and he got his PhD in Rise in economics. And so he always brings us a little bit of optimism and a little bit of humor. So I give you the guy, Perryman, on Oppenheimer, the Oppenheimer movie. So, right there.
Well, thank you very much, Lee. I appreciate that. I like short introductions. You could have just said you undisputed sex symbol of economics, and that would be fine. What else needs to be said? No, it's great to be with you as always. It's always a pretty crowd. I'm amazed some of you heard me before I came back. That's kind of weird. I've been spending a lot of time in D.C. lately in Congress. It's rough up there. Last week they were trying to pass a resolution to honor the city of Ohio. They couldn't give them a date. Anyway, I do appreciate it and the kind words. And I'm telling you, earlier, somebody told me the other day that I've given over 4,000 speeches in my career and to over 2 million people. And what I'm about to tell you happened once. Okay, so don't get your hopes up. Okay, but one day I'm over, I was giving a speech, and afterwards a young lady came up to me. She was just very anxious to get there. Elbow was a lot of way, and I'm like, what's going on here? And she came up, she said, Dr. Perryman, that was great, that was wonderful. It's the best speech I've ever heard. Now remember, that only happened once, so don't get your hopes up. Okay? And she said, when do you think this speech will be published? Oh, wait a minute, something. Oh, I don't know, maybe posthumously. And she said, I'm going to go home right now and pray that real soon. Anyway, it's great to be with you. And I have to tell you, I've been doing this. They asked me how long I've been doing it. I don't know for sure how long I've been doing it with you guys. I've been doing it myself for much closer to 50 years now than this. But I know, in fact, I gave a speech at the Rotary Club in 1986 here because they did some filming of it in a video that I did one time. So I know it goes back at least that far. But throughout that time, Waco has changed a lot. And a lot of things have gone on. And for the last few years, it's been very exciting. And I think we're in a better place in Waco economically than we've been since I've been around. I remember back in 1978, for some reason, I was a young professor later, and the city fathers were having a big meeting to talk about the future of Waco and that sort of thing. And for some reason, they invited me. I'm not sure why, because I was a kid, but they invited me to come along. And I was too young and too stupid to know what not to say. And one of the gentlemen who, if I told you his name, you recognize him, he was one of the roots of Waco for decades, said, well, we're going to grow a lot now because we're halfway between Dallas and Austin. And I was, like I say, I was kind of young and stupid, and I just raised my hand and said, well, how long have we been halfway between Dallas and Austin? But, you know, a lot of things happen in the interim. Dallas finally started going south after going north for a long time, and also started going north in a very fast way. A lot of infrastructure improvements, a lot of major new announcements around here. Magnolia added some energy to the place in terms of tourism and that sort of thing. So there's a lot going on right now, a lot to be happy about. And in fact, a couple of very brief numbers. If you go back to the month before the pandemic, okay, February of 2020, a little over 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, and you know, the economy's been chugging along for 10 years, doing great. All of a sudden, it kind of falls off the cliff, and then it comes back. Well, it took the U.S. 28 months to get back to even. All the jobs were lost in those 2 months. Which wasn't bad, actually, in the grand scheme of things. It took twice that long back from the Great Recession in 2008. But anyway, since that time, we've gained about 6.2 million jobs net for about 4 years. Okay? During that same time period, Texas came back in 18 months, which is, you know, a lot of good bit faster. And it's up about 1.2 million. The reason I did that was it takes a very good math here. The U.S. is up around 6 million jobs. Texas is up around 1.2 million jobs. That means in the past 4.5 years or so, 1 out of every 5 jobs created in the entire country has been created in the state of Texas. And that is a pretty remarkable statement when you start to think about it. It speaks to the diversity and strength that this economy's had. And as I said, it took Texas 18 months to get back. Historically, almost any time I would give a speech about Waco in the last 40 years, a little bit slower in Texas, sometimes a lot slower in Texas. But Waco got back in 16 months. Waco got back faster than the state did. And since that time, the U.S. is up about 4.4% or so. Texas is about 9.5%. Waco is also about 9.5%. So basically what we're saying is Waco has grown as fast as the state of Texas, which is the fastest growing state in the country. And again, there's a lot of good things, a lot of energy. And when we forecast going forward right now, we're looking for over the next year or so, for Waco to grow at just about the same rate as the state in terms of the output growth product. And a little faster in terms of employment. So Texas is knocking down about 40,000 jobs a month. You know, I mean, there's a lot of momentum. I don't think we'll keep that pace the entire year. So nonetheless, we're talking about the state gaining about 300,000 jobs, and Waco gaining a share that's equal to that. And the reason the states are a little bit, about the same in terms of output, you keep pace with the states with the output, getting the jobs. But when you think about the state output for a minute, we really get a boost. As most of you know now, I still work here. My office is over in Triangle, but I live in Odessa. And the reason I live in Odessa is 32 years ago I married the mayor. And there are many laws of economics. The first and only law of economics is to marry the mayor to move. Okay, so that's why I live in Odessa. But anyway, out there in the Plains Basin, they're really skewing up the growth product of the state. There's not a lot of jobs. Oil and gas, people realize oil and gas only got 2.5% jobs in Texas. It's not that many jobs. And it's generate output. Because once one of those wells just starts doing this, pumping out oil and gas, or what economists call gross product. Value added to the economy. So that jacks up the entire state's gross product number, yet Waco keeping pace even with all that going on. And so that, again, it's a pretty remarkable statement of what's going on here. I think there's plenty to be excited about on that. And we think there's momentum for that to go forward. So the infrastructure investments that are taking place now are very important. Started kind of doing that strategically a while back and kept up with it. Again, the tourism thing has worked out very well with Magnolia, other things going on now. I got a deal the other day, told me that I rent a lot of houses with the RDO thing, and I got something the other day, told me the 7 places I had to stay this summer. There were 6 Great Ocean houses and 1 of Chip and Joe's houses. Those are the can't miss places for the summer. So anyway, I mean, again, it's getting a lot of very positive attention to the area. And then the big investments by big corporations here in Waco, out the directors and around, it's just really, it's a unique, special time here. What I thought I'd do the rest of the time I have, and I'm not sure how much I have, but somebody will tell me. I know you guys know the schedule. I know you've got to be a thing in the garden. You'll tape on until we can sure. Talk about a few of the issues that are out there right now and how we get our perspective on them. I guess we'll start with inflation. Everybody's thinking about that these days. It is down a lot. 2 summers ago, it was about 9%. It's down to almost down to about 3%. The Federal Reserve wants to be a little bit lower than that before they start raising interest rates. And, but basically, and we think it will be. We think it's going to gradually go down a little bit here. And I'm still with the old lower interest rates some of the years. There's a mixed bag on that right now. But I am fairly close to some of the folks there. And I feel fairly confident we will see some interest rate reduction before the end of the year. The only thing that might mess it up is it might get messed up with the election because the Fed is politically independent. No president gets to appoint the majority of the Fed, and then they have 5 people that nobody appoints to vote on these things, so it's fairly independent. And they don't really care so much who wins. They don't want to be held responsible for who wins, one way or the other. And so consequently, October, November, December, especially October, November, is kind of tough for them to make decisions and do anything. So we're kind of in a force race where they get to the point they do something far enough back that they won't be confused too much. Whatever they do, be confused, but not too much of messing with the election. So, but I think we'll see some interest rate reductions this year. And the market's already reducing interest rates some. I mean, mortgage rates are the lowest they've been in about 3 or 4 months now. We're starting to see those come down just a little bit. But when you raise interest rates, and I think one of all the reasons why that happened, but I think I did that last year. I don't know if I did it off, but anyway, why we had to see inflation, why we felt prices coming down. But with interest rates, when you raise interest rates, you really impact the economy in three different ways. A year and a half ago, if you wanted to buy a $250,000 house, it's about the average starter house, $250,000 house, about a year and a half ago, your monthly payment would be about $1,100. Okay? Today, they would be $1,700. Okay? That makes a big difference. That takes a lot of people out of the market. That makes a lot of people go for a smaller house, stay in the apartment, or whatever the case may be. So that slows things down a lot. And so and it also slows down commercial real estate. And that brings me to something else I want to talk about for a minute, that's banking. So we have some bankers here, some former bankers here. A lot of people are concerned about that. About this time last year, well, a little earlier this last year, 3 big banks failed, very close together. Silicon Valley, First Republic, and Signature. Everybody was in panic. We're going to have another 2008 all over again. And the answer, which we said at the time, was very clearly no. But the why of that is important. Back in 2008, we had a systematic problem with the banking system. We don't have that right now. We don't have a systematic problem. We have a little problem, I'll tell you about in a minute, but we don't have a big one like that. That's what my friend is running around here today. Appreciate that. And I thought I was fine. But anyway, I have this hearing aids now. I'm not sure if I keep my Bluetooth on. The phone, I'll begin to speak, and even if it's silent, the phone will ring in my ear. I'm wanting to turn it off today. But anyway, you go back and look at 2008. That was a global ranking problem, and the reason was we did a lot of stupid stuff. And I'm not going to point to anybody in particular. We'll look over here, point over here, so I'm not pointing to anybody in particular, okay? But here we can see what there's a cell on top of that now. We've known each other 45 years or so, we can do that. But basically, you just got to look where there's a fellow somewhere over here, okay? Didn't have a job, kind of lazy, shiftless, no savings, keeps a dog, his mama doesn't like him. What he needs is a house. If we just give him a house, it'll all be good. So we figured out a way to give him a house. We can ask those embarrassing questions, like, do you have any money? Please pay for it. That's what we want to embarrass him. So we got him a house. And Wall Street was saying, get everybody a house. We'll put it in bonds. We'll make them good. We'll put 1,000 mortgages into a mortgage bond. And they'll say it's a AAA bond. Because 1,000 bad mortgages makes a great model. Okay? Diversification. Yes, I missed that day. I'm not sure how that works. So we did that. We found all dead people, got them all houses, made all these bonds, Wall Street, still not happy. They just love these things. They want to more. And they said, well, there's no more dead people. What are we going to do? And some smart folks said, oh, it's not our problem. We'll write derivatives on these bonds. Now, derivative sounds like a very complicated financial thing. It's not. It's a side business. That's all it really is. Here in Waco, Texas, I was not there to ask for a show of hands. If you've ever gone to the track and you bet on a horse, you bought a derivative. You don't own the horse because you get paid based on how the horse performs. That's all it is. It's a side bet. Well, they would write 100 derivatives on one bond. Which meant if you had a house, your Waco was $50,000 underwater, you created $5 million in losses. That's how you have a multi-trillion-dollar problem that collapses and you have a great recession. This time around, we had 3 banks do something stupid. Okay? Individually, not the whole system do something stupid. And they were each stupid, but they picked a different thing to be stupid back. So Silicon Valley Bank tried to be the cool bank for the tech guys. And by cool bank, I mean there's some bankers in the room. They were lending money to tech startups. Banks don't lend money to startups. And sure enough, the tech industry had a little problem. They needed some liquidity. They didn't have it. They went. Signature was the same thing, except they wanted to be the cool bank for the crypto guys. Now, some of you may love crypto, some of you may hate crypto. Nobody's going to sit here and say crypto's stable. But they were lending on it like it was a piece of dirt. They wasn't going anywhere. And then Sam gets indicted, the thing tanks, they don't have liquidity, so they go under. First Republic would be the cool bank for the super billionaire guys. So back when you could get a 3% mortgage, they would make a 3% mortgage with 5% down on a $100 million house. Now, when those folks don't want that $100 million house anymore, you're ready to sell it. If you have an open house for a $100 million house, not too many folks show up. Because if they got $100 million to spend on a house, they're going to build their own house. Get what they want. So basically, they didn't have liquidity. They were done. So each one of them just did something stupid by themselves. Okay? We do have one issue that concerns me. Look at the banking system. You may see 1 or 2 banks fail. It's not systematic. Number one, there's no derivatives involved. We multiply the problem by 100. That's one thing right off the bat. But we do have a lot of commercial real estate loans right now that are not as stable as like we do. Values are down. More people are working from home, not coming in the office as much and all that. And this all takes care of itself over time. It'll get worked out. And you have to refinance a bunch of it this year. And that may cause a few banks to have problems. Now, it's pretty well spread out. Most of the big loans are spread out among a bunch of banks, so there'll probably be a group store of it. But you might see 1 or 2, but you're not going to see a big, huge systematic thing. But I think that's the big risk we face in the economy right now. In terms of longer-term issues, we have several that we're talking about. And some of these will be a little controversial. And, that kind of comes with my territory. I've always, to the best of my knowledge, they tell me, again, I don't count this stuff, but other people count it, that they tell me that my company produces well over 1 billion numbers a year in terms of that go out to people may look at it. To the best that we've been doing it for almost 50 years. To the best of my knowledge, we've never produced a number that was Republican. And we've never produced a number that was Democrat. And we've never produced a number that was liberal. And we've never produced a number that was conservative. So consequently, we made everybody mad, one point or another. And so these are just based on numbers and nothing else when I say this. In fact, the funny thing happened not too long ago. It was a couple of years ago, I guess, when Russia invaded Ukraine. They had a hearing in the House to talk about what our policy should be and that sort of thing. And I was on the Yahoos, they invited me to come up there and talk. And in the middle of it, after when I kind of finished the formal stuff, I got a question about energy policy. And I think we have something right, something wrong about energy policy. And I went off on that, which kind of made some Democrats mad. Okay? At the same moment, I didn't realize it, but we had done a little study. Remember when the governor first started stopping the trucks at the border, and it was blocking up all the traffic and all that, and messing up the supply chain? We did a little study on what that was costing the economy. Well, I didn't realize at the same time of answering that question, My company released that study, I mean, the same moment. And there's this reporter out there, or a columnist out in the audience, listening to me testify, comment to USA Today. He's listening to me testify, he looks at his phone and sees this, and he realizes all of a sudden I'm insulting the Republicans and Democrats at the same moment. And so he wrote a column the next day and called me an equal opportunity offender. I decided I like that name. But there are some long-term issues. We have a long-term workforce shortage. Period. We're not making enough people. Okay? In Democrats, we're not going to make enough people. Even with it improving some like we still have more job openings than other people unemployed. That never happened in about a month, about a year before the pandemic. It never happened in history. It's routine now, it's going to be that way. Because we're not making enough people. There's a million fewer people under the age of 18 in this country now than there was 10 years ago. And it's going to be with us for a while. Okay. Well, if you don't have enough people, and you need more people, is there any place we can get more people? Absolutely. Yeah, we can bring people in. That's controversial. Both parties are suddenly deciding it's a bad thing. You know, this country's kind of based on it. But basically, we have three immigration issues in this country right now. One is the folks coming up from Central America, and that is a crisis. I'm down with the border all the time. It's a terrible situation. But it's not who we're looking for the workforce. And frankly, nothing anybody's doing right now to fix it. I think we have to fix those countries. It's kind of a perfect thing to say, but if you're a mama, you wake up today in Guatemala, you say, we're in the middle of an 8-year drought, and everybody here's a farmer. If I stay here, my kids are going to starve to death. You say, okay, my country's overrun by gangs. They killed 300 kids yesterday. If I stay here, my kids are going to be killed. Okay. Or I can walk hundreds of miles and maybe give them a better life. What are you going to do? You're going to walk. I mean, that's not economics. That's basic human survival and who we are inside. We're not going to change that. And so, that one, I think, but that's not what we look at the workforce anyway. The workforce has two pieces. We have the undocumented, for us primarily from Mexico, and we have the legal immigrants. Let's talk about both of them for a second. Undocumented. 14 million people went to work in Texas this morning. You work with them. 1.4 million of them were undocumented. 1 out of every 10. Construction industry, 4 out of every 10. Absolutely no other place to do. Hospitality industry, 3 out of every 10. Agriculture, 4 out of every 10. So if you want to build anything, go anywhere, or grow anything, or eat, we need these folks. So we need a policy that makes it legal. So that an employer's not breaking the law, they don't have to come over and suffocate a boxcar, they can come over and just come across and work. When they leave, that sort of thing. It's a labor market. I mean, the market went out and found these people. You need to work in the market, so what markets do they put found the workers? So we may need that market be very efficient and humane, but we don't have to use the immigration law. Now let's talk about the legal issue. Just walk down the hall and look at this. Just walk down the hall. 25% of the doctors in this state are legal immigrants. 25% of the other healthcare workers in this state are legal immigrants. 25% of the scientists and engineers in this state that we're so proud of are immigrants. Because we're not making enough. That's simple. Yet we keep putting in policies that restrict that too. So it doesn't matter what you're picking the most skilled or the least skilled folks. We need bodies. So that's an issue for the future workforce integration that we're talking about. Another fairly controversial issue, now boy, I got both sides really mad at me on this one, is climate and energy. Climate change is real. Anybody real through this summer? Or winter a couple of years ago? The climate change is real. There's no question about it. We're going to have to do something about it. On the other hand, we're also going to have to produce more oil and gas. One side says you better completely we can't. Yes, we can. If you look at the demand for oil, or look at the demand for energy, this is not my number. I've got my own numbers. This is the Department of Energy. Okay. If you look at the Department of Energy numbers for their baseline projection for the future of energy, with huge growth in renewables, which we need, huge growth in hydrogen, huge growth in nuclear, all of that, in 2050, the world's going to use 21% more oil and 27% more natural gas than we use today. Okay? And they did some scenarios. They said, well, what if the economy of the world only grows 1%? Well, what if it grows 4%? Well, what if the price of oil is only $45 a barrel? It's about 80 right now. Okay, what if it's 187? What if the cost of zero carbon energy stays right where it is? What if it goes down 40%? It doesn't matter. In every one of those scenarios, we need more oil and more natural gas in 2050 than we do today. What does that say? It says the folks who say climate change doesn't exist are wrong. It says the folks who say drill, baby, drill, and don't worry about it are wrong. We have to produce energy in a responsible manner. Capture carbon at the wellhead, capture carbon at the power plant, capture carbon out of the air, capture carbon through batteries. We have to do this in a better way than we've done it before. And even domestically, I mean, the story for many years was, well, the advanced economies, they're getting more efficient, every new building's more efficient than the old buildings, we're using less energy. Then a long man they got a ton of energy. In the history of Texas, time we started from now, we've got to the point of peak, the hottest day of this summer, we may use 85 megawatts of power. Okay? Maybe. We're going to need 140 megawatts by 2030. 6 years from now, almost double what we need now, just because of that technology. So it's the emerging countries of the world, where, by the way, there's 3 billion people that have this poverty where we can't get out unless we produce enough energy. And the advanced countries, as they take over and embrace and they bring technology. So also, we're going to have to balance that. We're going to have to come and realize realistically what our policies are and what they can't do. I go to Washington all the time and talk to these folks, and I kind of take both sides of the line for what I say. But it's a reality of where we are, where we're going to have to be. Final one I'll mention, and then I'll take the time for questions if I hadn't already burned all the time, is very much related to the workforce. It's very much related to the state of Texas. A common question I get a lot is, I guess it's a common question I get a lot. Common question I get is, what's the one thing that keeps you up at night about the economy of Texas? And the answer is very simple. If you look at everything going on, it's got good and bad things going on. It's got positive and negative things. It's very, very simple. With the resources and advantages we have in this state, nothing can stop this state if we educate our kids. With all the resources and everything we have in this state, nothing can save this state if we don't educate our kids. It really comes down that simple. And it is a challenge. It will rapidly it's a challenge because we have our population becoming more and more Hispanic. That's a good thing. That's one reason why we have population growth that other places don't. I mentioned there were 1 million fewer young people in the country than there were 10 years ago. There's 420,000 more in Texas than there were 10 years ago. And in the future, that is the currency of economic growth. If you have workers, they can come. If you don't have workers, they can't. It's that simple. But some work we did, if you take right now, the public school enrollment in Texas today is roughly 53% Hispanic. If you look at the wealth, we did a calculation with the wealth of all the families with school-age kids in Texas and broke it up by ethnicity. Less than 6% of the money is in the households that have those 53% of the kids. And those numbers are changing very rapidly. It's going to be 65% of kids know it. That means they don't get that summer enrichment program. They don't get that computer at home, that software they need, or that broadband connection they need, or that tutoring they need. They don't get those things in the same way. It's a huge challenge that we're going to face. 20% of the kids who enter our public schools today have to start with language barriers. 2%. That sounds a lot. When I look at one kid in every 2 classrooms in Texas today is homeless. They walk in the door. They don't have a place to go to live. And that's the reality of our student body. And yet we have no choice, but if we don't, if we're capping the incomes of the following Texas, we're going to find ourselves in a place where we have not the great workforce we have now, not all of the track on the industry, but an unskilled workforce, a lot of people who have social service needs, and no vibrant workforce to drive things forward, which basically means you become a low-growth, high-tax state, which I don't think anybody wants to see. But if you look at that, it's important. It is the single most important thing. So that happy note, I'll stop and take questions. There's been much time in the day. I'm not sure how much time, but I know you guys have to do your installation and all that. I don't interfere with that. But, yeah. Okay, so we're perfect.
Mr. Perryman, with the White House actually coming across and saying that college education is not necessarily for some of the jobs they're offering, and myself in a position, I'm actually seeing organizations that are telling people, hey, you're going to have a bachelor, we're going to pay $13 an hour. At what point are we going to incentivize companies to actually start doing on-the-job training and having built-in progress that actually help skill our workforce?
Very good question. What, in terms of skilling our workforce, what we do, people who need the college education, you know, corporate America. Corporate America doesn't need any more incentive. Their incentive is they have to survive. Corporate America is spending more on on-the-job training right now than the entire public sector is spending on public education. Corporate America knows that training. They're already trained. That's goes with it. But here's the key thing you hit on that I think is very important. I think it's something we overlook a lot. Because we have a workforce shortage today. I mean, educating these kids is great 10 or 15 years from now. We have a workforce shortage today. So in order to do a lot of skilled work that you're talking about, technicians of various types, whether it's in the engineering sector or the healthcare sector, a lot of jobs, technical jobs, those kind of things, paraprofessional jobs, you need to be able to read at literacy level 3. That is approximately, they don't translate exactly, that's approximately 8th grade level. In the state of Texas, the adult literacy rate at level 3 today is 40%. 60% of the adults in Texas cannot read at the 8th grade level. Now, if we invest in adult literacy, we bring those people up to that level, they're 6 or 8 months away with a training program. They're 6 or 8 months away from a very good paying, high demand job. I mean, you spend 6 months bringing them up to the literacy level they need to be, and in 6 months training in a year, you can have a viable worker. And that's something we've been trying to advocate to get more done. And there's a lot more, a lot of energy behind it right now. Unfortunately, there's not as much money as we'd like behind it. But I think that's a real issue. But critically, we do need to recognize a lot of people do need college degrees. We have a lot of really smart folks do a lot of stuff. But a big swath of the workers will need that 6, 8, 10, 12-month training that doesn't require a college degree, but gets you a skill level that's a very high-paid, high-demand job.
You should just well about there's so many questions I can ask you, but as an economist, I'm really curious on your thoughts on cryptocurrency.
Okay.
I have seen so many banks lawyer.
Yeah.
So many people put their life savings in that.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast this weekend, and it uses so much energy on our grid. They're expecting another failure, and that's a mass user of our grid. Why do we need another currency with a dollar that's important?
Good question. Well, future cryptocurrency, why do we need it, that sort of thing? Where's it headed? And it is a huge user of power. I mean, AI uses more, but crypto uses a lot of power. That's one of the reasons why our grid is strained right now, because Texas is kind of a leader on the crypto side and the AI side for that matter. But in terms of the future, I really hate when people put their life savings into it. Not too many people are. That's a good thing. But and in fact, for something that if any of you had to stuff through a basic economics class at some point in life, and if you did, I apologize. But they're kind of boring. But anyway, they told you that for something to be money, it has to be a medium of exchange. People have to be willing to accept it for money. Well, a lot of people accept crypto. Okay, that's fine. A lot of things have been money in that sense. I mean, in POW camps around the war, cigarettes have become money. You know, way back in the world many years ago. Why? In some civilizations. Okay, we'll catch that one. The reason that the slang for $1 is a buck is because buckskins in frontier America were used to exchange for money. Anything you're willing to accept, your swap party needs to be money. it has to be a measure of value. That is, you have to be able to express prices in like so many dollars, so many yen, so many pounds, so whatever. Crypto tends to just go ahead and express in dollars. But you can do it, you do Bitcoin, you can express price in Bitcoin if you want to, but it's the third one. It has to be a store of value. And it's something that you're willing to use to retain value over time. So until the vast majority of people are willing to invest their life savings in cryptocurrency, it's not going to be a means of money in the pure sense. It's not going to be there. Because I don't care, even people that love it recognize most of them. Unfortunately, you can have most recognized, it's not going to be all the way. So it's not going to replace the dollar. It's not going to be that. It does have some efficiencies, and some people like it, and that's fine. I do think it may well see that the power usage is a very real thing. Basically what they do is they put a certain amount of value in the system that you can mine for, so to speak. Like mining means intense computer programming. And it's easy to get the first ones. And then, if we got 98% of them out now, it's going to take 25, 30 years to get the rest of them out. And each one of them progressively takes more and more and more energy to squeeze them out of these systems. And so it just eats up with it. And so it's the kind of thing, again, it will probably always have a place now. It's like we're going to establish. I don't think it's going to be a significant piece of the overall life.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on infrastructure. It's a limiting factor. I'm curious if you see a large part of that, roads and highways, and the great part of that in Texas, but here, do you see that compromising the road to the state?
Well, good question. Infrastructure. In order to grow, we're going to have infrastructure. We have to invest in it. And as I said, I want to realize one of the things Waco has done very well recently is invest in infrastructure. Wastewater, water treatment, and roads. And when you're growing, it's hard to keep up. But Waco's done a good job of that. Now, we need to do much more in that area. In terms of water, that we approved a little bit more, a lot more funding, but not a lot relative to what we need to develop the water. Roadways, obviously, we're barely our budget right now, barely for maintenance, for the 3 minutes. So, but no, there's no question we have to be focused on infrastructure. The federal law that passed this past couple years ago puts a lot of money into infrastructure. It's hard to access it in some cases because of some of the restrictions on it. And I think we'll see some of that lightened up over time, but they'll have a choice about it. They've got to throw the money out there. So, I think, yes, we have to spend a lot of money on infrastructure. It needs to be a fundamental part of our planning for everything. And the grid is a very important part of it. And I could go into a long explanation about some stuff on the grid. PayPal tells me I have 3 minutes. So let me try to take one or two minutes. Yes, sir.
Back in 2008, why weren't the credit companies penalized more for their mistakes on those bonds that everybody on?
A good question. Why weren't they penalized more? And I think that's more a political question than an economic question. But one of the things that we have done in this country that I think probably has been, if I go back in pro and cons to be accomplished, I should have done. We have, capitalism is supposed to give you the chance to do well and a chance to fail. It's supposed to give you both. And we need a safety net for folks who fail for no fault of their own or because of circumstances, that sort of thing. But we now sort of have a safety net for the largest institutions in the country. When they fail, we tend to bail them out because the phrase back in the day was too big to fail. But we, as a society, we chose to basically let them off the hook. And that's not to say there weren't problems. I mean, a lot of the companies that were very big companies at that time no longer exist. They had to be acquired by somebody, they ceased to exist. Their shareholders took a big loss and that sort of thing. But the system as a whole, very few people held accountable for anything in the system at that time. And that what the unfortunate thing is, incentives, economics are driven by incentives. And that goes way back. Aristotle said that. We've done that for a long time. And if you're incentivized, you get to keep the wins, you don't have to accept the losses, people don't take too much risk. And we kind of had that system going at that time. we've made some reports to make it a little bit better now, but there's still a sort of a too big to fail kind of sense out there. And we saw that in the basin, we did 3 big basins conference last year. They said they made all the departments whole, not just up to the insurance, they have to everybody have everything, because they feel like they need to do that. And that, again, that incentivizes a little bit more risk and makes them take some. Okay, thank you all very much, I appreciate it.
Such a frequent flyer here at the Waco Rotary Club that perhaps you ought to join and become part of the family. But I'm sure we will see you again soon. And thank you so much for being here. Well, the time has come. This is my final meeting as president of the Waco Rotary Club. Certainly not my final Rotary meeting, that's for sure. But it has been a pleasure and an honor to be president of this club. I want to thank the board of directors. Your service and support has been especially important this year. Moving us and letting me drag this club to a new location wasn't an easy decision, but I think it's the right decision. And if you don't, then you can move us again. Although this is a better location, perhaps it did affect our bottom line. This place is more affordable for us to meet, and it has certainly cured our problem with paying for food that was invisible, that nobody had. So I want to thank every member who brought a new member into this club. I think we hit a record this year with 15 new members. I want you all to make them feel welcome and important, and they are. I think Curtis Brown holds the title for recruiting the most people this year. I wish he could recruit the gentleman that he invited today, but he's a member of the Killeen Rotary Club. But he's welcome to visit if he can. I want to thank our committee chairman and the committee members. You all did an excellent job. All of our college, high school challenge, all of those programs went well. And we got to meet a lot of important students. And I think our help in their education going forward will be appreciated down the line. We just hope they'll all become Rotarians when they have that opportunity. We did start a Rotaract Club at Baylor University. My favorite person is not in town right now because of the summer break, but you'll hear more about the Rotaract members, and we hope to have them at our meetings in the future so that we get to meet them. I have to mention Larry Holsey because he has always been there, ready to sing, go off script, whatever we needed, and Dr. Dow for backing him up when 1 or 2 times he wasn't available. It means a lot to have guys that just step up. They're here every week. They do what we ask them to do. And I don't know if you all were in Rotary when I joined, but I wanted to point out that there are many members here that were Rotarians before I joined the club, which was a long time ago, and a lot of members that have joined since. And so it's important. I also want to thank Tyler Martin. He has stood by our office needs with our computer needs, our financial books. He's upgraded, updated, and done a yeoman's job for us, and I don't think Joanne is going to let him leave Waco anytime soon. And I also have to say, I couldn't have done it without you. A big thanks to Joanne Wade. While in training to be our executive director, less than 2 months on the job, we moved, and she became the lunch lady. She's done a wonderful job, and thank you for your patience and support, Joanne. A big old heartfelt thanks to all of our members. I love you all, and I really appreciate your support this year and participating in Rotary meetings as you have. And now, Dana Broadway. President-elect Dana Broadway. I don't know if you haven't been a president of a Rotary Club. Your obligations begin begin months before your term of office. And so Dana has been able to work that in her busy schedule. And so as it is my duty, it is my pleasure to pass the bell and gavel to you and to present you with the treasured Rotary President's pin, which is, I don't know how old, but it is certainly a valuable pin. I put it in a drawer and didn't touch it for a year.
We're going to have a good year, but I wanted to take a moment and give a big thank you to Rosemary. I've known Rosemary in the community for a long time, and she's never failed to be a leader. She's never failed to be a mentor, and she's never failed to be just a whole long time. There's a lot of awesomeness packed in this little thing. So I just want to thank you, Rosemary, for your leadership, for finding a new home, and for representing everything that Rotary stands for, both in thought and in action. And we appreciate that and have some. So thank you for your service. We'd like to give you this engraved bowl. Remember us, Bobby. It's the first time I've seen it. Thank you, Joanne, for helping me take care of that. And we also have a past president's pen, which I will note is bigger than the president's pen.
So you'll, that'll be something you can.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I'm looking forward to just having a great year, and I hope you will all be at the social on Wednesday to help us celebrate and say goodbye to Rosemary one more time.
Okay, so y'all almost made me cry. I wasn't gonna do that. And I'm not going anyplace, I'll be here. To finish out this meeting. See how old I have to have it written down. I can't put it on my phone because then I really couldn't read it anyway. I want to re-welcome our guests today. Please come back. Consider joining Waco Rotary Club if you find that today was a great program. I mean, not every Rotary Club around has Ray Perryman as their guest speaker on a regular basis, I might add. The next meeting is July the 8th, after the holidays, so y'all should be ready to come back to Rotary. Kevin Villegas is the Dean of Baylor School of Social Work, and Buddy Edwards has recruited him for the program on July the 8th. I want to thank all the Rotarians that supported our meeting today, registration, singing, introductions, and filming. And with that, let's stand for the four-way test. See you all at Slow Rise on Wednesday.